is for the ancients is a day for the celebration of Sirius. It's like, well, that's for where? Because depending on where you live, the star Sirius is gonna rise at different times. All stars are like that, except for stars that are circumpolar stars, like the North Pole, like Polaris. That would, I guess we wouldn't call that a circumpolar stars, but the stars around the North Pole or even the Southern Pole star, the circumpolar stars don't really move like that. They're kind of like fixed, right? Like you stepped on the star or you have your foot on it. Once again, not saying that the Lions Gate isn't real if you want it to be real, but when we actually kind of look into it, it's actually midway through the summer. If the sun is halfway through Leo on 8/8, or this is 15 degrees Leo, this means that 8/8 is really the midway point between the summer season and the autumn season. This is the midway point between the summer solstice and the autumnal equinox. When we break that down, that is really kind of what 8/8 could be about. But then when we see things about the heliacal rising of Sirius, or even Sirius aligning with places in the ancient, we got to understand that the stars, there's a little drift over time where the stars were 2,000 years ago. The stars are not necessarily there today. All right, so I hope that kind of would help with the 8/8 Lions Gate thing a little bit, because look, I'm not saying that it's not significant, or as we just explained, around the time of the Lions Gate, we're midway through to the autumnal equinox. So it's still a pretty epic time, and that could be significant, right? And we live in the northern hemisphere, so that is, well, look, I live in the northern hemisphere, and shout out to my subscribers. Some of my subscribers is in the southern hemisphere, but any hemisphere, you know we here, you know we there. All right, let's continue, and I hope y'all enjoying this video. We have a full moon in Aquarius. I think the full moon was like what, 16 or 17 degrees Aquarius. This is all about humanity. This is about innovation. This is about groups. This is about groups of people. This could be about groups of women. This could be about humanitarian efforts and groups of people supporting one another. We know that Mercury is also retrograde. When you're dealing with this Mercury retrograde and it's in Leo, we could have some things with leaders and people in powerful, prominent positions looking at laws that happened before. And with the Mercury retrograde is going to be over in about 2 days. We're also having a Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And when you're dealing with this, you're dealing with things in areas of like religious groups overseas. You're dealing with this balance between law, religion, the power of the state, and the power of international syndicates. So we could see scandals. We could see scandals from people in religious settings. We could see scandals from even people who are in trusted positions. Maybe things dealing with drugs. Maybe things dealing with hidden waters. Things like submarines. Like this is really all of the stuff that we could see, right? But now, when you look at other things like Mars going into Libra, this is where, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to just speaking and engaging viewpoints with people, this is where Mars and Libra, Mars is not like being in Libra, y'all. Libra is where we begin to close the deal. We know that in astronomy, right? Or, well, you know, in astrology, but y'all know in astrosthetics, astronomy and astrology is one thing, right? In astrology, the zodiac sign Libra, this is where the sun is essentially falling. So when we talk about the fall season, we have the sun going below the equator now.